Hello, welcome back to Intentional Living. I'm your host, Shannon Moore, and today I'll be coming to you with a tabletop decor piece. It's my brother's birthday, and he has been begging me for a piece that he can put on top of his desk at work. So this is what I came up with. I hope that he likes it. And you guys make sure you subscribe, hit the like button so you don't miss the rest of our Valentine's DIY series. That video will be being posted tomorrow, part 3. So stay tuned to see that. You don't want to miss it. So first, I must say, I am not an inches and centimeters type of girl. I really don't measure very much of anything. I use the rulers just so my lines are straight. But I like to just be able to see it. If I do better with seeing what I'm trying to do instead of using a ruler for how many inches where it matches. And if that's for you, that's for you, but it's just not for me. So I'm using it here just to make some straight lines. I've got the size of the letter E that I want. And I'm just going to go in, pull out my ruler, and freehand the middle of it. Going back in with the ruler just to make sure that my lines are straight. Using my Exacto knife, I'm just going to go in, add nice pressure, and cut out on the lines that I've drawn for my letter E. Also, when I'm making letters that are squared like this, I use the edge of the board because I know that those pieces are going to be straight, and then I can work from there with making the rest of my edges straight. But I always like to use as much of the outside of the board as I can. After I've cut out my letter E, I place it back on top of the foam board and trace it out so that I have an identical piece. Now that I have two symmetric E's, capital E's, I'm going to start to build the wall for my letter E. And what I'm doing here is I'm just measuring how far apart or how the thickness that I want for my letter. And I'm going to measure that to be 1 inch apart. That is very important, that this piece is 1 inch apart, because you're going to cut out a lot of these little pieces and you want them all to be leveled. You'll understand what I mean as the video goes on. You want to make one of these inch wide pieces for everywhere that the board meets at a 90-degree angle. So you're making a border for the outside of your letter E. This border is going to stand up straight along the side, so you'll need one for each side of the board where the 90-degree angle meets. Here's a nice hint to keep all of your pieces in order because you are going to cut a lot of them. Use your second letter E and place the piece that you're cutting on the edge where you will glue it. This way, when it is time to put it together, you know exactly where everything goes. Alright, so right here we're going to take those pieces that we just sliced that are an inch thick, so essentially I guess an inch tall looking at it with the way it's laying on the board. I'm going to apply hot glue to the bottom of it and attach it to the back side of the E. You guys see what I mean? How it's going to all come together? Keep watching, you'll see. A lot of the pieces I cut too big, which is better. You want to cut it a little bit too big. It's easier to take away from than to add to. And we want the minimal amount of gaps in this. We want all of the pieces to be totally attached. All right, you guys, our wall is coming together. I'm just gonna add in this last piece and we're all done with that. If you are making this for a little girl, you could stop here. You could add some floral foam inside of the letter E and add some flowers to it. That will be a nice wall piece. I'm gonna do one of those for my daughter. So make sure you subscribe, hit the like button so you don't miss that video when it comes out. Now for this part, when you are applying your hot glue, you want to do it quickly because it dries fast. So you want to get it on there as quick as possible so you have time to attach your top letter E and to adhere properly. Right here, I'm just going in with my hot glue gun and sealing off any parts that may not have attached. So I'm going to apply some hot glue and squeeze that together, hold it until it adheres. And I'm going to check all the edges on my board before I continue my project. Going in with some navy blue acrylic paint that I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to paint my entire letter E. I want to make sure I get full coverage on every nick and cranny that I can. Applying one more thin coat of navy blue paint, and then I will sit it to the side to dry. Alright you guys, I set my letter E to the side, let it dry, and I worked on part 3 of my Valentine's DIY series sitting over there in the corner. I've got my glasses going, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video. Right here I'm taking a rubber band and I'm just going to rope off one side of my letter E, and from here on everything is pretty much optional. You can decorate as you see fit. This was just my choice of how I decided to go about it. I'm using rubber band to rope off the piece of the letter E that I want to do in the ModPodge and glitter. My son calls it the MPAG theory. ModPodge and glitter. I'm going to apply a nice white coat of ModPodge to this side of my board, or to my letter E, and then I'm going to give a generous amount of glitter onto this ModPodge. Be careful not to get any ModPodge on the opposite side of your rubber band, because then when you apply your glitter, it will attach to that. I made that slight little bit of a mistake here at the bottom, but I'm just going to take my finger and clean it up. I've got time to catch it. Going to take my bling wrap, measure out the size that I need, and cut out the piece to fit exactly to go all the way around my letter E. Going in with my hot glue gun, I apply it to the very top strand of my bling wrap, attach it to the top, and continue to work my way down. guys, don't forget about your rubber band. Make sure you take that off before you apply all of your bling wrap all the way around. I decided to use scissors to go in and cut it out. That way I wouldn't have to drag the rubber band across any part of the letter E, tracking any glitter in any spots that it didn't need to be. It is very important that you are applying the hot glue right at that 90-degree angle. Everything else is extra security, but you want to make sure that the bling wrap is completely attached to every 90-degree angle on the edge of the letter E. Another thing that you guys should know that I wish that I had not done was apply my bling wrap to the very bottom of my letter E. And that was just such a waste of bling wrap for me. Now it's because I'm going to be attaching it to a base. You won't even be able to see it. So that's a step that you can skip. Right here I'm going back in with some ModPodge and I'm putting it on top of my glitter just to seal it. You always want to make sure you seal your glitter. Otherwise, you'll have glitter all over the place. Glitter will be falling off. If somebody wants to touch it, it'll be glitter on their hands, and that's not cute. I'm gonna take a long string of bling wrap, and I will be attaching it to where the ModPodge glitter and the navy blue paint meet, just to give it a nice clean finish. Before I started to decorate this pot, I noticed that there were a lot of little spots where it could take more paint. So I just went in with another thin layer of blue paint and added it to the top. This step you can avoid, you guys, if you take the time and do 3 layers from the very beginning. But the way I see it, I saved some paint because I didn't need that extra layer everywhere, just on this small portion. Right here I noticed that I spilled some ModPodge on my diamond bling wrap on the back end. Not too worried about that either because it dries clear, so it's not going to affect it at all. Now that everything is dry, I'm going in and decorating the front of my letter E. I chose to use my Flatback gems, and I'm going to be applying those one to each corner at each 90-degree angle. Those 90 degrees, man. Anyway, I'm going to apply one Flatback to each angle of my letter E on the blue paint using my hot glue gun. So I've decided on using a glass piece from a mirror frame that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'll be using this as the base for my letter E. Make sure you clean it before you start working on it. So I'm gonna go in with some ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby. It is a silver ribbon and it was $5.99, and then I used my 50% off. No, I didn't have a coupon. The His and Her brand is usually 50% off every other week in Hobby Lobby. The sale goes from Saturday or Sunday to Sunday, so it's for 1 week. And the His and Hers this week when I went in there, this silver ribbon was on sale, 50% off. So that is what I will be using, and I already had this on hand. I'll be using it to frame the outside of my glass. This glass is very sharp, so you want to make sure that you put something on it to protect the edges, otherwise you will cut yourself. I know from experience. I also used a lighter at the very beginning and burnt the edges of my ribbon so that it wouldn't fray. The first time I did it, I tried to apply the hot glue to the glass, which I should have known better because hot glue dries as soon as you attach it to that. So from this point on, I'll be attaching the hot glue to the ribbon and then the ribbon to the glass. These felt pads I got out of the Dollar Tree. They are oatmeal colored, and I will be attaching those to the bottom of my base so that the base is level, the glass isn't scratching on whatever surface that my brother chooses to put it on, and I'm just figuring out the placement of where I want them to be. I didn't want them to be showing, but it's kind of difficult for them not to show because of how big they are. So what I did was I went in and I removed the plastic tabs from the back, revealed the adhesive, applied hot glue to the center of that, and attached it down to the back of the glass. A portion of it is on the ribbon, but there is a piece of it that is still showing on the glass, and you can see that visible from the top here. So I went in with some of my Flatback gems, and I decorated as I saw fit to obstruct the view of the felt pads from the top of the base. Now that all my Flatback gems are attached and the felt boards are covered up from the top view of my glass, I'm going to go in with my diamond bling wrap and attach it to the area where the glass and the ribbon meet. I want to make that look a little more cohesive, let that flow a little better, and add a little more bling. Who am I fooling? Using hot glue, I'm putting it on the entire bottom of my letter E, and then I'm going to attach it to the placement of my liking on top of my base, the glass piece that we just finished. Taking my pencil holder, I'm going to apply hot glue to the bottom of that, and then I'm going to attach it to the glass as well. And that is it. I am all done. I love it. Turned out great. I can't wait to see my brother's expression when he sees it. Would you take a look at that, you guys? Absolutely love it. I love the ribbon on the base. I love how everything flows cohesively. There's a little bit of everything everywhere, which pulls it all together. The pencil holder there can be used for pencils, Sharpies, pens, markers. There's also room there for a stapler, maybe a tape dispenser, a staple remover. So this is a nice little stationary spot for a desk. This can also be used for makeup. If you wanted to make a different letter and maybe add some makeup brushes to the holder, this would also be great for that as well. Well, that's it for me, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think. What have you have done differently? Like, subscribe, and share me with your family and friends. God is love. Good night.